was gonna let that go, but Rob laughed.
Oh, you was gonna let that go.
I was letting it go.
I didn't hear it till I said it, but I'm just gonna keep going.
Mine's on top of him, sucks the poison out of him. I'm okay.
They are the last of their kind. Skilled assassins, trained for generations in the deadly arts.
Will you stand alone before the fury of his armies?
Yes.
Welcome to the Third Generation Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Eric and Rob.
Welcome back, everybody. Back for another movie review. Here, kicking off that Rocket series I've been talking about for the last month. Here, talk about Scorpion King, starring Dwayne Johnson. 2001. I'm your host, Real Big E. My co-host, Rob the Ambassador. How you feeling?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. When we first talked about the Rocky series, I didn't know if you was talking about Sylvester Stallone.
No.
You're talking about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So ready to get it going on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And joined by a special guest, MJ Book, who does these movie reviews with us. How's it going?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I thought you were going to talk about Adrian and Thunder Lips.
Feeling pretty good. It's good to talk. But this is going to be fun. This will be fun. I'm curious what a certain person says about this movie.
Yeah, so we're going to go through. We're going to, I don't know how long it's going to take, but we're going to try to get through all of Mr. Rock, all his movies. I did allow, I'll be doing them all, and I did allow, the guys to mulligan one. You get one, you can say, nope, ain't doing it. So, but it can't be the same one. It's got to be a different movie. So, but here we go. We're going to talk about this one real quick. We're going to get into it. 2001. I mean, this is based off a character that was in the Mummy series. Mummy Returns. Rock made his actual feature film debut in the beginning and well, I guess you can technically count the end of Mummy Returns. It was his face anyway. I thought it was a well, see, back in the day, what happened? I was living at home 2001, so I was only, going to high school, and I just remember watching, I think I was watching football, and the commercial came on, and all you saw was that beginning scene, that battle scene, and this guy in the front charging towards the screen. You're like, is that The Rock? And because back then, you gotta remember, internet a thing, but not really. I mean, you have to be on a computer to get on the internet in 2001. You don't have it in your hand. So, and there was no, Bleacher Report and all this other stuff on your phone that you would know ahead of time that Rock was going to be in this movie. I just found out just by watching TV, and that was kind of cool back then, because that was how you found out, unless you just were in the business, so to speak. So that was pretty cool for me. And then I remember watching the movie Mummy Returns, and I figured he wasn't going to be in much, but he was still the main villain in the 2.0 villain in that movie. But Rob, what'd you think back when where were you when you found out, so to speak, that Rock was going to be in Mummy Returns?
I don't know, because while I own the two Mummy movies, believe it or not, I know it's going to sound crazy, I have not seen both of them all the way through. Not because they were bad. I've got so many movies, they just got by me, but I will revisit those. I really don't know where I was. I probably found out on an episode of Raw or something. That's probably where I found. I probably saw the trailer on a WWE telecast of some sort.
It was definitely on Raw. Vince is an executive producer, so he's going to advertise that to wrestling fans. Wrestling fans were probably going to be the first ones to know that the movie even was going to be existing, that he was going to be acting. So I don't remember for sure, but I have a funny feeling Vince did something on Raw alerting us to this. Plus, we probably noticed Rock was probably gone for a little while, because when you're doing a movie, you go away for a little bit. Mm-hmm. So he could have gotten mysteriously injured or something like that. Who knows? But
it would have been around the time he lost to Brock.
That's what I'm thinking. It might have been around Brock's time, because that was SummerSlam. I think he lost to Brock around that time.
Actually, it would have been before then. It would have been before then, because he lost. Oh, he beat Hogan. He went away for a little bit and he came back, and then he lost to Brock and he came back. And then there was that point where he had just got done feuding with Austin, I think, and he went away. So there was a few times where he went away.
When it was the Austin thing, I think that's when he was. That might have been after Scorpion King. I think it was more around somewhere around the Brock area, whether it was maybe before or around Brock exactly. That had to have been when he was doing this.
Yeah, but so they kind of knew that the character, I guess, was going to take off, because they shot this movie very, very shortly after The Mummy Returns, and so much so that the trailer for this was on the special features of Mummy Returns. So let's get into it, man. Not only starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, but also starring Stephen Brand, Kelly Hugh, who I know Rob's going to talk about. And of course, rest in peace, Michael Clark Duncan.
Yep.
R.I.P.
Kingpin.
Yes, now, this movie told you straight up from the jump, 5 seconds in, what it was going to be about, like the type of movie you were getting. Dude comes in and right in the head. I said, okay, here we go. Sound effects. And we see Matthias, played by Dwayne, is rescuing his brother from being kidnapped. And there's this big action scene, and he's climbing a mountain. He throws a boulder into this giant hut, and there's explosions, arrows flying everywhere, people shooting through the hut from getting shot by these arrows.
The arrow. Yeah, I mean, I was like, dang, man, was these rocket propelled arrows?
Just some strong ass arrows. Goddamn.
And the boulder, wasn't The Rock carrying the boulder?
It was tied to his ankle or around his waist.
Yeah.
He was dragging it, but then he somehow got it from his leg over his head. Hey,
well, he was Hercules.
Not at this point.
That came a little later.
Yeah. And so he gets there, and there he's brawling, obviously, kicking everybody's ass, using the stuff. I mean, he did most of the stunts, you can tell. Some of the stuff was cool, and then but when he went up to start punching one dude, and then the main antagonist stands on this big ass wooden antler chandelier thing they had going on. You missed.
Get his double pump action axes or something that he had.
Yeah, what's up with that, man? No
double pump action axe. I'm like, is this supposed to be a gun? I mean, what?
And then Rock jumps down, the chandelier goes back up, and then dude, it was just kind of, I was like, all right, well, this is what we're getting. And you're lucky we had the same mother. And then we cut to the credits. Where you at, Rob? What you thinking? I know it's been a while since you had saw this, so.
Yeah, I watched this a couple of years ago when you and I had initially talked about doing the review like you said, the opening scene kind of set the tone for the movie. So I automatically know that this is not going to be like the movie is not going to have a completely serious tone. There's going to be some comedy elements to it. Now, at that point, I'm not out of the movie. I'm like, okay, as long as there's some good action sequences, I'll be good. So I kind of knew what I was in for. And I appreciate that when a movie does that. Don't lead me into thinking it's something else and then throw me a curveball.
Yeah, there's an obvious wink.
I mean, I'd forgotten. It'd been a bit since I'd seen it, so I'd forgot that Branscombe. I'm probably saying his first name wrong. Branscombe Richmond was in the movie. I'd forgotten he was in it. He's been in a lot of movies, but I know him as being Bobby Six Killer from the old show Renegade with Lorenzo Lamas. So I'd forgotten that he was in this movie, and all of a sudden he shows up. Like, oh yeah, I forgot he plays Rock's brother in this movie. So it was kind of nice.
Familiar.
Yeah, you've seen him in hundreds of movies, but probably his biggest role was playing Bobby Six Killer on the show Renegade.
Yeah, and obviously, PG-13 movie, so it's not a whole lot of blood, even though Rock's wielding that sword and chopping people's heads off.
A Conan actor was in this movie too. With Ralph Mahler. He played Conan in the Conan TV show.
Oh.
Yeah. Thorak.
You don't need to
but he wasn't Gladiator too.
I actually like Thorak in this movie. It was pretty good. All right. So we come from there and we get the backstory of Memnon and why he's the king, because he's the strongest and the best warrior, which makes sense. Okay, yeah, can't nobody kick your ass. Yeah, you should be the boss. Like, okay. And he's got a sorcerer by his side that predetermined, so he knows who's gonna attack him, who's gonna rebel against him. So he just doesn't waste any time. He just slaughters them all. So a little Thanos before Thanos, so to speak. So then we get this Knights of the Round Table scene with all these villages kind of getting together, trying to figure out how they can take care of Memnon. And that's when we get introduced to Balthasar, played by Michael Clark Duncan. And all I could think was, dude, what the fuck happened to your face? Jesus. Like a horse stepped on him when he was sleeping or something. But the Acadians show up, and they pretty much are hired hitmen, the Acadians. So it's Dwayne, his two brothers, they're the last of their kind. That's the whole story. And but Balthasar ain't having it. He's like, you gonna just hire these dudes and then pay them the last of the money. But I don't know. I like this chemistry between Matthias and Balthasar. It's kind of like you couldn't wait. You're gonna get these two one-on-one at some point, and we did. I like that back and forth they had. It's real subtle. Like, I don't trust you, you don't trust me, but we're gonna get down eventually.
They were old friends.
As Matthias, huh?
Dwayne Johnson and Michael Clark Duncan were old friends, so they had a ball on this. They'd known each other. They'd known each other a long time, so the chemistry was just perfect.
Well, that's also a good thing because Dwayne would knock him the fuck out later.
Dwayne did knock him out.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
He did.
Somewhere, I think footage of that is available.
There is.
Michael Clark Duncan says that
it's on
The Rock
here.
did not knock him out cold. He says that he did stun him, but look, judge for yourselves when you see it.
He said he knocked him on one knee. He knocked him on his ass. Now, it's not like he stayed down.
It was an accident, but
he got him with his elbow.
It was an accident. Yeah. But shit. Rock ain't no small dude. Michael Clark Duncan, the big guy, but Rock ain't no small dude.
Right.
So they pretty much get paid and they're gonna go do the job, right? Well, the son of the king set them up, and what ends up happening is the two brothers get taken out, and so it's Matthias, one-on-one with the sorcerer, gonna do the job, but he gets distracted, and the soldiers come in, they attack him, and that's when we see the worst looking prop head I've ever seen on the movie. that shit did not look like the king. If you really look at it, it did not look like the king. But I get it. 2001. Hey, we can't put all our money on a 2-second spot with a prop head. And it was kind of really, though, all jokes aside, it was kind of a vicious scene to make Matthias watch his brother's throat get slit, because one of them survived all those freaking arrows, which I don't know how, and Memnon throat just gutted his ass right in front of him. I mean, I don't know how you. I can't imagine. But
I thought Rock's reaction to that looked really genuine for this being his first starring role. I thought he looked convincing in that instant.
He was showing his chops early.
Yeah, not overacting. He didn't do the Darth Vader.
No. I was just thinking that thing. It would like no, yeah, nothing corny like that. Yeah.
And then we get introduced to our comedic relief in the movie. Was it Arpid? That's his name.
Arpid. Yep, Arpid.
Yeah.
I used to call him Armpit.
That's more appropriate.
Yeah. This dude is like this was a thing for like 10 years in the movies. Like, you had to have this goofy ass sidekick that just did nothing but crack jokes the entire time and was in the way or too slow, not helpful at all.
The Mummy movies had that same guy, except he was a bad guy. I just can't remember his stinking name, but Mummy movie had the same thing.
Benny.
Yep.
Benny. Yeah, Benny was good. But see, they didn't give us too much of Benny, though. He would go away for a while, and then he'd come back, and then he hit you with a little something, and go away again. Arthur was cool, but maybe just a little too much of him in this movie. So they're going to, and I picked up on this. Like, I would have never got this as a kid, but they're going to Gomorrah, and subtly, Arthur's like, Gomorrah's a great city, unless you compare it to Sodom. I was like, oh, they threw that in there, huh?
It's Vince. It's Vince. I mean, that was probably Vince.
You know what? That's a good point. I'll bet you anything.
That was Vince.
Something to do with that one being in.
I mean, that's a Vince joke.
Yeah.
I just was like, really, I couldn't just make up another town. You just we got to go Sodom and Gomorrah. Hey, I did think this was funny though. I've always thought this was funny. Oh, I got a price on my head. I can't go in there. Oh, do you? He knocks his ass out, drags him in, and that's how they get in. I thought that was really clever. There was some clever stuff in here. I thought that was one of them.
Can I go back to the scene? I think we kind of glossed over it, where he had to rescue the rock from the fire ants.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Is it just me, or is anybody else wondering how? Okay, they had rock buried head deep in sand.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw Arpid use fire to get rid of the fire ants. And then they just cut away. I mean, how did he dig the rock out?
I mean,
it probably took some time.
If we take time to answer those questions, we gonna be
here. It's nitpicky, but I'm just saying.
It's an interesting hole to pick at.
Yeah,
but
it's a minor detail. I just wondered if anybody else wondered.
Oh yeah, because they didn't focus on it. They just instantly he's out.
I'm wondering how the hell he got his ass down there. Because the other thing I want to talk about that I forgot. Remember, Rock was he was gonna zip line in all stealthy. He tells his camel, "Hey, I'm not that heavy." And that camel looked at him like bullshit. Like, dude, you ride me all day. I know how heavy you are. All right. So he gets in, so we're breaking into Memnon's castle, trying to get in there again, trying to get the sorcerer. He has a little, assistance getting in there from a little thief, but he makes him earn one of those blood rubies, and we get introduced to the scientist or the wizard. I don't know what they call him in this movie, but
Bernard
he's
Hill.
the one making all the. He got the catapult. He's got fireworks, dynamite, all that shit. And so we get to Memnon, and he's training. I thought this was a cool scene. Like, there's so many movies that don't do this right. Like, there's a bad guy or the antagonist, and they tell you how bad of a dude he is instead of just showing me. This showed me, like, and it made me believe, like, oh, he is a really bad dude. He don't look like it. He's not that big, but dude can fight. He's taking on these guys, and he's doing the arrow display where he's catching the arrow. Like, okay, yeah, all right. You're showing me. You're not just telling me he's a bad dude. Question for you both: do you shoot him or do you save the kid?
I think Rob and I are going to have the same unfortunate answer.
Hey man, don't put me in there. I'm not going to sit on no podcast and say I kill a kid, but
Yeah.
No, he wasn't going to die. He was just going to lose a hand.
You got to save the kid. You got to save the kid.
Oh man, first of all, from a movie standpoint, are we going to root for the Scorpion King if he lets a kid get his hand cut off? So for movie purposes, that they had to go that way.
Plus, most people are gonna. You got to save the kid.
Yeah,
that's just bad juju.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool. And then you got to see. It was like a tease. Like, we're not gonna give y'all this fight just yet. And I like to stare down. I like to stare down between Matthias and Memnon. There's a lot of damn M's in this movie. All these fucking characters. And then it kind of gets a little cartoony with him trying to escape this castle. He falls into the harem den, which was, hey, in mind that one.
Good scene.
But them heifers was taking his damn weapons. By the time he got done, he's like, shit. It's like, one night stand in Vegas, you gotta be careful. You wake up, your wallet gone. This is one thing that bothered me. Okay. Running through town and everything, and Rock falls from way, way up there through all that shit and then just hits the floor and just gets up.
The other two are dead. He fell.
They died hitting the roof. And he fell through.
Yeah, he fell. He's falling faster. He should be falling faster. He should be really dead. But it's Rock. He's a rock.
He's a rock made of rubber because he got right back up. And then the other thing that bothered me, okay, the sorcerer, he falls in the sorcerer's area. She's taking a bath, and they go through the tub to get through the sewer line. I don't get it. I don't know what kind of tub this is that's holding water, but has a giant ass hole in the bottom of it, especially if it rocks big ass.
Yeah, he moved the clog.
I don't know.
Maybe he punched the clog or something.
If you got a tub that can fit his big wide ass and you got to clog it that much, you don't need. That's not a tub. But
who cares? He was in a tub with Kelly, and she wasn't wearing very much, so I'm not gonna bitch about it.
Wait, what did the boy say? Godspeed is something.
Oh,
she got up and
oh yeah, okay. I can't remember what he said, but
yeah,
I can't either. But I didn't blame him for saying it. Whatever it was,
something like "bless the gods" or something. Gods, plenty or something.
Yeah, I mean Kelly, who is beautiful, and man, I knew it was a PG-13 movie, but I was doing my best to see something, but it didn't happen.
They did a really good job hiding because
they
there's a
did.
lot of chances you could have seen something.
Yeah, I always wonder. I mean, I think it's up to the actor if they want to just be naked and just have the trust the other actor to cover them up. But I know they have ways to at least cover up nipples.
Yeah,
if
they're
nothing
called
else.
pasties.
Pasties.
And I think they can use the same thing for the lower area too. There's all kinds of stuff.
There's
they
a
can
string thing and a
Yeah.
something. I can't remember the technical term for it, but there's a name for it.
Yeah.
So they escape Gamora. If you we're just gonna call it Gamora. That was not Gamora. And she did. So we gotta have this whole feisty fight between her and Rock. You're just gonna kill me anyway. Why don't you just do it now? And we had to have all this conversation. But obviously, he wants her for bait to bait Memnon to kill him because he don't even care about her no more. I mean, the king that paid him is dead, so it's just irrelevant at this point. And got a little slow right here, just a little bit, because the movie's not even that long. But this whole back and forth, the cutting back to Memnon, and then the soldiers questioning him about where the sorcerer is. Could have done without all that. I did, however, really, really like the sandstorm scene in the cave. Give me more of that. That was awesome.
That was right out of Rambo 3.
Yeah, how he's just
that's what it is.
And
right.
Fighting behind the walls of sand and just taking dudes out left and right. That was awesome. And that's when he takes out Thorak, and then Thorak. Well, I guess the other scene I talked about had a point, because that's when Thorak got the arrow with the scorpion blood, the venom, and this is where we see Matthias get stabbed with it, and excuse me, and this is where he could die. I mean, scorpion venom is deadly. It's lethal. I mean, there's some scorpions that kill you in 8 seconds. So the fact that he lasted as long as he did before the sorcerer did her thing, worked her magic on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was some nice magic.
Yeah.
Heal me.
No. Climbing on top of him. I was like, well, where are we going with this? And sucked the poison out of him, I guess. But he still
Did you have to phrase it like that? I was gonna let that go, but Rob laughed.
Oh, you was gonna let that go.
I was letting it go.
I didn't hear it till I said it, but I'm just gonna keep going.
Mine's on top of him, sucks the poison out of him. Okay.
Put that right there next to your sex slave comments and
oh shit. Oh man. All right. Moving right along. So yeah. Matthias is good to go now. He's ready to get back into battle, and they get back on their journey. But they run into Balthazar's his clan, his area. I guess he lives in Sodom.
oh man.
And we get this we finally get in the big brawl. And this was I was enjoying this fight until they had to insert the tiny bit of comedy that they didn't need to do that. Just keep this a serious fight. That part where Rock is grabbing stuff and hitting Balthazar in the head, and then he grabbed a chicken.
Yeah.
That shit. That wasn't necessary.
No.
The chicken wasn't necessary.
No.
Besides, I ain't gonna throw a chicken at Balthazar. He might have eaten it alive.
I was like, is this a black joke? You gonna throw a chicken at a nigga?
That's what I took it as. Don't throw a chicken at him.
That. I mean, that's not a big leap.
It's Vince again. Vince is involved.
He's not that involved in the movie.
He's not that involved, but there are certain times that just
Vince's name is on there, and he put money towards this, and that's the extent of his involvement. That, however, did not need to be there. But at some point, I can't remember the exact point where he knocked him out. It's on the special features. If you watch the special features, they
It's
show it
right toward the end, because
when
it's right when they're
he's
doing the
got
spear.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought this was a good standoff, but we also got some of the corniest lines right here. I can't even. There's no way I could get it out. But hey, it's 2001. This is what you get. The thing that bothered me with this whole thing really, really, really stuck out like a sore ass thumb. It was right before they was about to fight. Balthazar said something about the lady, and Matthias is like, you have to come through me to get to her. And she just looks at him and they zoom the camera in. I'm like, oh, really? That's what we're doing? She's like, oh my God, you're gonna protect me?
Well, I think a lot of women would be swooning at that moment too.
Like, I've been protecting you this whole time. This ain't no different. I'm just now I gotta fight this big back dude. So yeah, nitpicky, but it bothered me. That really bothered me. All right, so he wins the respect of Balthazar, and but before we even can go to the climax here, there was another climax that occurred.
I mean, Big E, you're just walking right into these. I mean, what are we supposed to do?
It happened, man. I didn't put it in the movie. Rock took that flower. He had to get some, man. It's his movie.
Hey, well, you talked about that look she gave him because he saved her. Well, The Rock knew what he was doing.
Okay.
Oh shit. Whoo. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. He gave the strudel.
Yeah. I always talked about it.
Yep.
He shared that strudel. She likes strudel.
Oh man. Okay, so he gets Balthazar and his group to help him. They're gonna go take out Memnon. She snuck away, woke up, she was gone. That's kind of how it happens sometimes. And it was good because Memnon, his people getting ready to go into battle, and he still got that same dude questioning him about that sorcerer. Like, hey, you said she was here. We don't see her. What's good? And then she shows up and shut all that down. Perfect time. Memnon's probably like, thank God, because I don't feel like explaining this shit. But of course, I kind of figured this was gonna happen. The dude apologizes and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, we cool. Yeah, come here, let me talk to you, motherfucker. Don't question me no more." Stab his ass. We done eating. Get your ass to bed. We got to fight in the morning. And then I also liked how they kind of did like the Trojan horse thing when they brought Balthazar in, and then the dude that played Honda and Street Fighter was at the gate.
Yeah, I recognized him.
And he's like, "Oh, what's behind that pretty mask?" And it's Balthazar, and he starts whooping on dude. And Michael Clark Duncan's got on eye makeup, and after The Rock beats up the people guarding the front gate.
Don't worry, man.
Balthazar's like, "You be careful up there, Acadian. No need to be concerned, miss."
I mean, did that dude really think Michael Clark Duncan was a woman?
Well,
he's a big guy. Look, he may want big women.
I mean, Michael Clark Duncan is a huge.
Well, he was hidden behind.
He was hidden. Women. He was hidden behind all those other women. He was hidden.
Okay.
Now, I will say this: I would not want to be dating in this era of the pandemic where everybody can wear a mask and all you can see is this. You just need to be, hey, y'all fellas out there listening, you need to be more careful out here because you don't know.
And there's parts of the world they've been like that for a long time.
Yeah, just make sure that you know what you're going home with.
Look for the Adam's apple.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh man.
Seriously. You some of them, man, you won't know. All right. So we get the final battle scene here. You know, finally get that one-on-one confrontation. I did like the before we go there, I did like the Memnon questioning the sorcerer, even though she played him like a fiddle. But with the snakes and the vases, I thought that was pretty cool. It added a little tension. And then you know them Memnon and Matthias fighting, and the snakes are still there.
Ugh.
I like how this fight went. It started off there, and then they worked their way outside, and they had the fire, and it was pretty cool. I mean, and then Rock got his third slow motion take in this fight when he runs through the fire curtain, which I thought was cool. I mean,
that
it
was
in
a
the
cool
trailer. I thought
moment.
it was cool.
Yeah.
And I like the touches, like he got dirtier and dirtier as the fight went on, as he should. Unlike some movies around here where people be fighting and they just be pristine white shirt still at the end of the fight, not a scratch on them. Like, stop it. Okay. And I don't know, it's a little bit of a stretch. You get shot in the back with an arrow. I don't know if I could reach back and get that. I mean, I'm not as big as Rock, and I don't know if I could reach back that far, but hey, maybe he's more flexible than me. And I like that this had a kind of a test. You know, Memnon, he's a pro at catching arrows, and Rock, catch this, and knocks his ass off the castle into the fire, into the flames, and there he is.
Rock with those arrows again, making people fly.
Well, that one was believable. I don't know about that shit at the beginning. So yeah, that's pretty much, you know, after that we get the, you know, the kind of post scene. We got to have everybody, you know, the happy ending, see where everybody goes. And, you know, Michael Clark Duncan somebody's got to say the name of the movie, right? Somebody's got to do it. Will, I'll be watching you, Scorpion King.
You didn't watch him too well. You see what happens to the Scorpion King 10 years later.
Yeah.
He becomes the bad guy.
I thought it was kind of unique that he's the protagonist here. He's the antagonist in Mummy Returns. Well, what's the quote in Batman?
Oh,
you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself
become the villain.
Yep. That's how it goes. Well, I thought this was still a fun movie. I thought it had some obvious flaws that I touched on. But as far as a feature film debut, a starring leading role, I thought Rock did a good job. I enjoyed Michael Clark Duncan. Obviously, I enjoyed Kelly Hu. And I thought it was fun. And it was short, so it was not like painful. You know, they kept it to 90 minutes. Cool. So I will go ahead and I will give this movie a B-. I will give it a B-. I thought it was entertaining enough. Just the flaws is the only thing that bring it down, and come to cliches. But yeah, this worked for me. Obviously, we'll watch it again. I owned it. So, Rob?
Yeah, I own this one as well. And look, was it hokey? Yeah. Was there sometimes when it was unbelievable? Sure. But you can say that about a lot of action films. But at the end of it all, did it entertain me? Well, you know what? It did. But I can't, I'm going to go C because I thought it was about average. Okay. I'm not going to pan it. We all know it wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible either. So I'm going to go right in the middle and give it a C.
Well, just like y'all said, I also own it as well. I enjoyed The Scorpion King. I like this movie. It's one of, when I think of Rock movies, this is one of the first ones I think of. So for me, I'm actually going to give this. Call me crazy. I'm going to give this one a B plus. I really do like the Scorpion King movie. Is it a silly little movie? Of course, but it's coming from the world of the Mummy movies, which are equally silly. So if I'm going to say this is too silly, then I got to start saying the Mummy movies are too silly. This was just the right appropriate amount. It wasn't too long. Rock did a good job with the action. Stephen Brand was a very believable villain. Kelly Hu is just gorgeous, enough said there. And Michael Clark Duncan is just so damn entertaining. And it was just great to once again see the guy. Rest in peace to him. And of course, the soundtrack to the movie, I Stand Alone, Godsmack.
Oh,
I mean,
awesome song.
this is the reason I knew Godsmack existed before this. This is when I started really paying attention to them, was this song, and that song just kicks ass. So for me, this was a B plus. It's why I bought it. It's why I owned it. I own it. I enjoyed watching it. I'd watch it again, just not the sequels.
yeah, and it was a good vehicle for The Rock, who obviously has the physical presence. Even though I think The Rock has developed into a decent actor, this role didn't require him to be the best actor. So it was the right movie for the right guy at the right time.
Yep.
Agreed.
And they say it in the special features that they were seeing there's a kind of a hole in action stars right now. There aren't a lot of new action stars coming up. A lot of people were looking at him saying, hey, this could be the next one coming up. And of course, they were right.
I just wish he would switch it up a little bit. Like Arnold, we use Arnold for that. I mean, that's the best example we can use, right? I just feel like Arnold his characters always felt different if he was doing a different movie. But with Rock, it's like, some of his movies, even though there's a different title, he's playing the same guy. That's why I really don't complain with him. But we'll get into it, as next film we're gonna do will be The Rundown.
Okay. All right.
We're going in order here. We're going in order.
Still safe.
Rundown was next.
Still safe.
And I'll save my thoughts on that movie, but I think that really, if he was going in the right direction at this point still with The Rundown. So, and we will talk about that one when we come back to the series. That'll probably be next month. But yeah, thank you all for watching, listening, whether you're on YouTube or you're listening to the podcast version of this. We appreciate you all. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, share, leave us a comment, give us a 5-star rating on Apple Music. We appreciate it. We've got this weekend. It's gonna be a busy weekend. We got All Out, AEW. We will be in the building, and Rob just sent out earlier. There's gonna be like a little pre-game party going on. We're gonna probably check that out at least for a couple hours, which will probably benefit us anyway, so that we're not caught up in all the BS trying to get in the building. So I think that's a wise move either way. So I'm sure they have merchandise out there too.
Yeah, I've received emails saying we should get there early. It's a sellout crowd, bound to be some traffic. Yeah, and so they're saying get there early to make sure you don't miss the show.
Oh yeah. And let's see what else. Check out the Countdown Podcast, hosted by MJ Book. I'll let him go ahead and plug that.
I appreciate it. I have my own podcast, of course, Countdown Podcast, count down many different topics. Of course, Rob, Eric, Blake, the Doc, all have been on. Just recently counted down favorite Denzel movies. And of course, with Eric, we finished up favorite action movies from 2010, 2019. So please listen, available on all the avenues for the most part that you can listen to the show as well.
Right on. Yep, that's pretty much all we got coming up. Next week we'll be All Out. That's the show. That's the post show. 50-50 chance that we may or may not have a voice, so that audio might not be the best.
Could be a little
yeah, and probably gonna be hammered as well. So nobody has to work the next day.
Exactly right. I do have to drive, but oh well.
That's true.
But
I'm not saying I'm
luckily
going
it's
to
only-
drive drunk. I'm saying I might be hungover driving.
Over.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
but
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's gonna be sleeping in between the drive.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, appreciate y'all again. Ambassador, take us home.
All right. As we always say, man, we appreciate y'all on the show. We love y'all, and we want to hear from y'all. Give us some show ideas. Look, wear your masks, okay? Get your vaccinations. Let's quit having to end the show with this. Let's get past this thing and let's get to life back to normal.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm glad we're going still. I'm glad the show didn't get canceled or nothing like that. But I in anticipation, because this was gonna happen, I did get us masks, but I was hoping I wouldn't have to wear them at the show. You know, maybe you can take them back as souvenirs, but we gotta wear them. So it is what it is. But
yeah, exactly. I thought they were going to be optional, but I got an email earlier in the week. Masks are required except when you're eating or drinking.
well, I plan to have a drink in this hand and my belt in the other hand.
Same here.
Take care, everybody. We appreciate you.